Because these are, gosh, already I think I have 120 sets. Is that correct, producer Rocky? Yeah, 120. This is your 2001 through 2007. Perfect condition, Mint State 70, struck previous year set of 7 Silver Eagles. So, Mike, you're gonna have to explain to me what that means, struck the previous year, but a whole collection here of 7 coins. It's item number 738668. How important is this? And I know that every time there's a little discrepancy, anytime there's, you know, a little catch like the star or like, you know, the wrong mint, I know that makes it even more valuable. So tell me about this.
Well, what this comes down to is just the rarity of the coin. So as I just discussed, beginning in about probably the 1st of November or so, they'll start making 2021 American Silver Eagles, okay? They always do that. They have to get ready. They want to release them January the 1st. So a small percentage of American Silver Eagles are minted the year before they're released. So you see a year on them, 2007, but they're struck in 2006. And people always ask me, how can you possibly know that? If you reach around behind the set there, Leslie, and there's a big blow up of what looks like a receipt tape. What the United States government did for many, many, many years, particularly these older coins like this, is they come in boxes of 500 that are sealed. But they did an accounting method on these. So what they did is they added up the coins, as you can see by hand, literally on one of those old tiny adding machines. They labeled the box. So this one happened to be box number 17. This happened to be box number 17. And the date on that, you can see, is 10/4/2000. But those were 2001 Silver Eagles. So we know these coins were made in 2000, even though they have a date of 2001. It's an incredible designation of rarity for coins that were struck the year before they were released. The only way we were able to, and I only have a tiny, that's all the coins. There's like 10 dozen sets. Because what we did is we bought about $5 million worth of American Silver Eagles back dates. Boxes and boxes, pallets of boxes, okay? $5 million worth of Silver Eagles, because we always, Silver Eagles is our best seller, because it's the most popularly collected silver coin in the world. And as it's at the grading company, and this can only happen at the grading company, when they opened up the box, they saw that some of these coins were prior year coins. They were prior year, struck the year before. So out of all of these coins, quite literally, out of all of these coins, I have got 10 dozen sets out of 5 million Eagles that were 2001 struck in 2000, 2002 struck in 2001. Because you have to meet a very stringent, an extraordinarily stringent set of rules to be able to put that on the coin. So in other words, the box has to be sealed. If the box isn't an original sealed box, you're buying a box of Silver Eagles that has been sealed for 20 years. So it has to be an original sealed box. There's not many of those left. And then once you open up that box, it has to be one of those coins that was struck in the prior year, one of the first 50 or 100 boxes of American Silver Eagles that were made. And so, you have to, this bar is so incredibly high. So the population of these coins, how many of these coins exist, is just, it's minuscule. We're looking at populations in these sets, 2007 struck in 2006. That population, there's probably 1,000 coins total, out of literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of coins that have been struck. Now, on top of that, not only is it struck the year before, but they're absolutely perfect Mint State 70 coins.
Yes.
Understand, anything pre-2008 in Mint State 70 is extraordinarily difficult to get. We're under $300 a coin, which is not an unreasonable number just for Mint State 70 coins. Because these prior early year coins, very difficult to get in Mint State 70. Like I said, it wasn't until 2008 that the government really started spending time trying to make sure that they, maintained the condition of these coins. So not only do we have coins that, by virtue of their age, are very rare in perfect condition, but then we have them very rare in perfect condition struck in the prior year. We have now got a subset of collectible coins, and you can only get, I'm the only one that even has these available.
And by the way,
we had to buy literally $5 million worth of coins to get what amounts to a handful of these sets, basically 10 dozen of these sets that were struck in the previous year. This is a fabulous little 7-year run of these coins right here. I mean, like I said, just without that designation, just having these coins in mint state 70 by themselves is a very desirable set of coins, but then struck in the prior year. And understand, any coin that's certified today, you can't say struck in the prior year. It has to come out of an original sealed 500 coin mint box. It comes in this beautiful red oak presentation box as well. It is a unique opportunity. I've never been able to do these before. It was only because of this massive hoard of vintage American Silver Eagles that we were able to find.
By the way, once again, we do have this on 12 months of VIP financing. So if you choose to do so, you can break this down into 12 monthly payments of $166.66. Yes, you can still sign up for that card. It's a no annual fee card. And tonight we've got one day only a VIP event where for every $75 or more you spend, we give you $15 back. So many reasons, particularly today in our VIP savings event, to ask about that credit card. This is item number 738668. It is a complete set, but what a fascinating story, Mike, because it is a little subset. So already that coin is collectible. Already this is the year of the Silver Eagle, but then just a little twist, right? Makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, and even more than interesting, it makes it so significantly rare. So you have to understand, we have these things where we have these designations of coins that add rarity, which adds collectability. And when you add collectability, you add value. And so that's what you get. So you get these coins that are collectible in and of themselves, but then you've got this amazing, look into the mint history that makes them even more collectible, even more desirable. And when you have populations where there's only, a couple of hundred of these coins, 300 of those coins, 500 of those coins, you just saw the NGC star. And there's 250 of those coins. They're $600 a piece. I think we just came pretty close to selling out all the ones in existence. These are the only coins of this in existence. Not like you can go out there and find, big chunks of these coins out there, because they simply don't exist. Because you have to understand, all the 2007, 2006, 2001 coins, those boxes have already been opened. And unless those boxes are sealed, and are those very first 5% of the boxes, and so what happens is once those boxes were open, which is almost every box in existence from this, from these prior years, once those are open, then there's no more of these coins that could ever exist. So the rarity is virtually guaranteed going forward on these. That's the thing I like, the fact that we get 7 coins right here, 7 coins of these all struck in the prior year, less than $300 a coin.
And by the way, you do get that certificate of authenticity. You're going to get the red oak presentation box. And by the way, that is a 10 slab box. So you should turn it around to open that. It is a 10 slab box. So you will put all 7 of your coins here. You're set. And then you do have a little bit of space if you've purchased any of our Silver Eagles tonight. It is the most important year of this coin. Everybody is chomping at the bit to get their hands on these. And when you get them in perfect condition and you get that anomaly of the struck the year before, it just makes them more desirable, more collectible. So fascinating to be able to tell this story. If you want these, 738668 is your item number. Remember, we only started with 125 sets. That's all we have. Now we're getting very, very limited. Thank you for shopping with us tonight. 738668 is your item number. So